Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the Fit Executive Show. I'm your host, Arne Waldner, and I will be honest with you. There's probably no topic I enjoy talking more about than what I'm going to get into today. So, the title of this episode is How to Become a Dangerous Man. And two things that I need to clarify here. Number one is, we do work with women too, and all of our female clients are absolute crushing it. And we also have a lot of female listeners here. So I just want you to know that this episode is more about the male psychology, and I think you can learn a lot from this. And if you have someone in your life who's a man who needs to hear this, feel free to share it with them. So that's a shout out to all the badass lady executives out there and also business owners, obviously. But the other thing that I need to clarify is that well, what do I mean by dangerous? Okay, I'm not talking about being reckless or being like rude or aggressive. I'm talking about the kind of man who cuts through life in a way that looks almost effortless to everyone watching. Okay, and not necessarily because life is easy, but because he has developed such a masterful command of himself, and also a command over his environment, that he seems to bend reality to his liking. And the kind of man the universe rewards, okay? The kind of man who walks into any room and something shifts, right? If you've ever been around a man like this, you know exactly what I mean. And if you want to become a man like this, then this episode is for you. So, the way that I came to this topic is I was listening to another podcast recently, and the guest on that show was breaking down 3 qualities that make a man dangerous, okay? Truly dangerous. And I want to build on that framework today because it connects directly to everything we talk about on this show. So, the 3 qualities are, number 1, respect, number 2, fear, and number 3, and this is more like a multiplier, not necessarily a requirement, but it's likability. And if you have respect and fear, you're dangerous. And if you add just enough genuine likability on top of that, your influence becomes almost limitless. Okay, so let's break all 3 down. So first of all, to understand why these qualities matter so deeply, you have to go back. So think about being like when you were 11, 12, 13 years old, right? On the playground. Think about those high school years, like 15, 16, 17. There is something ancient and hardwired in boys that craves respect from their peers, and that wants to know, and also wants others to know, that if you cross me, there are going to be consequences. You can't mess with me, so to say, right? And this isn't like toxicity, it's evolutionary. It's like in our DNA, like of every man who has ever lived. And in those early years, it plays out almost entirely in the physical. Like maybe on the football field, on the basketball court, in every competitive environment, boys inhabit, like the boys who command respect and carry an element of fear from their peers based on their physical presence, based on their physical capability as well. Those boys have influence, or more influence than the weak ones, right? The ones who don't have this kind of influence, they get squashed. It's really that simple. And here's what's interesting. None of us had money at 15. And it didn't matter who your father was or what your family drove. On the field, in the gym, in the hallway, it was purely physical, right? And that was the currency back then. And respect and fear were earned with your body. So for me, I remember this very clearly. Growing up, I wasn't the biggest or the most physically imposing. I was okay, and I was funny. So those were my the humor made me quite popular. I was confident in myself, so I think that is another thing. But I wasn't like physically imposing, right? And I felt That gap acutely, like that internal knowing, like that said, you need to build yourself, not just to compete, but because something in me understood that physical presence was part of becoming the man that I wanted to be. And that drive never fully went away, just got buried under years of building businesses and surviving financial collapse and also rebuilding from that collapse, like rebuilding from scratch. And when I finally addressed it, when I went through my own transformation and lost those 50 pounds of fluff that was hanging off of my body, and I started lifting weights and built muscle and got stronger and achieved this athletic physique with those like nice wide shoulders and a V shape, strong arms, right? A tight defined chest, a flat lean stomach. I didn't just change my body. Like it was like something woke back up. It was a version of myself that I'd let go quiet for way too long. So something shifts inside of you when you transform your body from soft to looking shredded and jacked, right? You kind of graduate. You enter the real world, so to say, right? You wake up and you see the world with like different eyes, and also people look at you with different eyes. Like your kids, your wife, your clients, your team, your friends, everyone who sees you. But when you enter your 20s, or for some of us, it's like maybe in your 30s, but something shifts. What happens is slowly, almost imperceptibly, the energy that was once directed entirely toward your physical dominance begins to redirect towards financial dominance, and for a good reason, right? Because in adulthood, financial capability becomes part of the equation for respect, for attraction, for influence. And a man who has like so a man who is physically imposing but broke has limited reach, right? And a man who is financially powerful commands a different kind of attention. So the migration makes sense. And most men make it, right? Especially our listeners are financially very successful. But here's where it goes wrong. There's a trap most successful men fall into. You chase the wealth and you build the business, right? You make the money, you get married, have kids, and then you tell yourself that the physical stuff is something you get back to when things settle down. And well, your wife chose you, your family is secure, your job now is to protect and to provide financially, right? And the body can wait. And 10 years pass, then 20. And one day you stand in front of the mirror or you see yourself on a picture, and the man looking back at you is soft. And he's carrying weight he's been meaning to address for years. And he has a fat wallet and like what I'd call a $2 body, right? It's actually not that funny. And in that moment, like no matter how much is in your bank account, there's no respect in those eyes. Not from the man in the mirror, not internally. And if there's no internal respect, there's no external respect. Not the real kind, right? Not the ancient kind that lives in the DNA of every man on this planet. I still remember when this moment hit me. First, I saw myself on a photo and I was sitting on a horse, looking soft. I had a red face, a bad posture with a rounded back, right? Or a rounded neck. My belly was hanging over my pants and the pants were way too tight. And when I saw this, I thought like, who is this, right? I felt embarrassed. And I still had the identity of an athlete, but my reality was that I had let myself go. So there was this gap inside my head, right? This inner conflict that my standard was up here, but my reality was down here. And my reality didn't really reflect my values in life anymore, right? And this is how it all got started for me. Another example, think about Jeff Bezos, one of the wealthiest human beings who has ever lived, right? He checked every financial box imaginable, but then he got divorced. And the first thing he did was get in the best shape of his life. And there was we use him in this in our ads, by the way, because of this, right? He's definitely a role model when it comes to business and financial success. But also he, like, everybody would still respect him, but he knows deep inside that now that he is in shape, people respect him even more. There was a cover story with a headline that read something like, CEO's new flex is his body, right? It's not the Rolex watch, the big house, the fancy vacations. It's really his body. Health is the new wealth, right? And I'm missing this one. Longevity is the new... I will remember this one. But there's... So Jeff Bezos on this cover story, he was on a jet ski, visibly like built, physically transformed. And why? Because even at that level, even with that net worth, something ancient in him said, this isn't finished. Your physical potential hasn't been chased down yet. And Mark Zuckerberg is another example. Like when he like at some point he did the same thing. I think it was like he started MMA training because he was preparing to fight Elon Musk in a cage. Did they even fight yet? I don't know. I need to look that up. But he went from the skinny, soft-looking tech billionaire to a man with a genuine physical presence, right? A man who now carries at least an element of what we're talking about, right? That quality that says, don't underestimate what's underneath this, right? It's not just the brain and the wallet. It's also, I am strong. I am I'm a overall good provider. And Jeff and Mark have become dangerous men. And these two are the most financially successful men alive, right? Maybe Elon is in that, right? But he doesn't necessarily have a body that reflects his success. Maybe he becomes a client of us. Elon, if you're listening, please feel free to reach out. Go to fitexecutive.co if you want to get in better shape and really dominate on a physical level too. But basically, both Mark and Jeff, at the peak of their financial power, they felt the pull to go back and address the physical, because the physical never stops mattering. It just gets suppressed, maybe in your 30s and 40s, and then suppressed things always resurface, right? The further you pull them down, it's like a ball, right? The further you press the ball down into the water, the higher it wants to shoot up. And when men come into contact with Fit Executive Co. and we get into the conversation about why they haven't addressed their body yet, the most common thing is, at least what I'm hearing, is like, I just can't find the time or the motivation to take the time. And I want to offer a different frame for that. So motivation isn't missing. It's been buried. The desire to be respected, genuinely, deeply respected, not just professionally tolerated. This is in every man listening to this show, right? The desire to carry yourself in a way that commands an element of fear, right? An element of don't test me, like don't fuck with me, right? An element of this man has earned his presence. And that desire is ancient. It was put there. It doesn't go away. And what happens is life buries it. Decades of prioritizing everything else, the business, the family, the financial security, and the physical self gets quietly shelved. And eventually, the part of you that used to drive you to the weight room when you were 22, that part goes quiet. It's not gone. It's just quiet, okay? And if you let it wake up, and if you give yourself permission to want this again, you will have more drive than any program, any coach, or any accountability system could ever manufacture for you, because it was always there, right? It was always yours. It just needed to be remembered. And now, here's the truth that ties all of this together. You cannot be the complete version of the man you're capable of becoming by mastering one and ignoring the other. If you're financially elite but physically soft, you're missing half the mark. You might have the Rolex, the cars, the boat, the properties. But if a generally dangerous man looks at you, he doesn't see a peer. He sees a man who gave up on himself somewhere along the way, right? He doesn't take you seriously on a deep level. And you feel that. And even if nobody says it out loud, you feel it. If you're physically elite, but financially underdeveloped, same problem, right? Different direction, but you've got the body, but you haven't built the life, right? You're missing the other half. You're broke, right? And I've been there, and I had to close that gap. So I can emphasize with both sides, kind of. I understand where they're coming from, but I can tell you one thing, it's awesome to have both, right? So the call to greatness for a man at your level is to master both, the physical and the financial. It's not one or the other. It's both. And that's what a dangerous man looks like to me, okay? Respected internally and externally. Carrying a physicality that says this man shows up for himself. Someone who doesn't just say my health and my fitness are important to me, but then it's someone who leads by example, where the body shows that your health and your fitness are important to me. It's not just inside of your head, right? So it shows that you're investing the time, the money, and the effort that are needed, right? You invest those things into your body. And all of this is backed by the financial strength that says this man builds and protects and provides for his family and his community. A man of growth, right? And now when we add a genuine earned likability, the kind of that comes from character, not performance, but you become one of the most influential men in any room that you enter. Like, put a big smile on your face, give more than you're asking for, find opportunities to serve others, right? And go the extra mile, show up on time, show up reliable, right? Make your word count. This is what I mean with likability on top of all of that, okay? And here's the thing about that level of influence. It doesn't just benefit you. It benefits your family, your team, your clients, your community. A man operating at his full potential physically, financially, and character-wise has reach that has developed, has a reach that a half-developed man simply doesn't have. Okay. By the way, this is our mission at Fit Executive. This is why we chose our audience being business owners and executives, because they have leverage. They not only lead their family, but they also lead their team. They lead their client. If they perform on a higher level, right? If they close the gap between average and elite in their body, in their physicality, also like you have more confidence, you have more presence, you have more productivity, right? This creates leverage for us as a company, working with our clients who have this, like, it has a ripple effect on millions and potentially billions of people, because we work with like Fortune 500 CEOs. We work with like highly successful people who reach millions through what they are doing. So I believe what we do is so important. And I have the best clients in the world, just saying. So if you're a client and you're listening to this, thank you for being with us. And thank you for trusting us. We're doing our best to serve you. And so, but if you're listening to this and you know which half you've been neglecting, well, that's your answer. Go all in on the area you've been avoiding. Not because someone told you to, but because the desire to be dangerous, to be elite, to cut through life as your fullest possible self, that desire has been in you since you were a kid on a playground, and it's still there. Let it out. Let it live, okay? So that's it for today. I see you on the next episode. Thank you.